sides of a dime.
Yes. Today we want to be comparing our grocery budget because we feel like groceries is it's the major thing where people really fight and struggle to figure it out. And trust me, I am still trying to figure out my grocery budget. It's been years now, and I cannot stick to a specific amount for my groceries. It's not been a losing fight, at least. Hardly ever been over budget. I give myself a lot of room to play around. So I feel like I'm on the higher end.
Yeah.
And Chite, obviously, if she tells you how much she spends on her just wait for it. I'm just waiting for it. When she tells you how much she spends for groceries, like up till now, I still cannot fathom like how much she spends. So on my budget, I put $100 for groceries. That is what I budget for every week. But for this entire year, I would say I've averaged between $50 to $70 of what my actual spend was. So what I do is, like I've told you guys before, like, yeah, thank you very much. I feel very proud of myself because last year my average was $100 to $150. So yeah, spend, not budget. I've always budgeted $100, but I always went over my budget. But yeah, so what I like I said, I always do like the weekly budget. So I figure out for that week what I'm trying to achieve, and I decide, okay, I'm gonna have to try to do a $50 budget this week, or I'm gonna try to do a $30 budget this week. So I've tried it all. I've done the lower end. I think there was one week where I hit like $30. I think that's my lowest, and I'm like, yes, girl, you did it. But trust me, that week I felt really like I was not eating anything. But yeah, so tell us how much you spend for your groceries.
I first started, I think, was it last year, with a budget of $50 for my groceries per week. Mm-hmm. And then I never spent all that money. So I was like, wow. Maybe I need to
giving me all that extra money. I got things to do with it.
I think it was because the reason why 50 was good for me was because I was eating like chicken and meat and all that stuff. So like that's what really puts the budget over to the other side. Mm-hmm. But I was never full. I found like I was basically starving while eating like a big piece of chicken. I was not.
I'm the complete opposite. I have tried being vegetarian out of circumstances. I was so hungry. I was so like and this was at my previous job one time when I was like, oh, I'm gonna try like a vegan diet. And oh man, he was like, Eduek, you look weak. I was like, yeah, I'm on these vegan things. Like, nah, you need meat, girl. You need food. I was like, I agree. I was like, I felt it. Like I felt the difference where, and maybe it's like you training your body and eventually you get used to it.
I don't know if it's a training. I think maybe it's just your body itself and knowing your body, which is true. Yeah. Like if you know that you need meat, then do that. Yeah. And I feel like that's what part of this whole like debt-free minimalism journey has come about, is also knowing what you like, what you can't live without, what you need to have in your daily life, including what is important for your diet. Like I've tried dieting and losing weight and all that kind of stuff. Like, like, oh, you should eat like this much meat and then, just your veggies and all that stuff. But none of that stuff actually worked for me. Mm-hmm. And none of it was productive for me because I ended up just feeling hungry all the time. Mm-hmm. But what I was going to say is then I set my budget for $30 a week, thinking, that was when I was like, okay, this is going to be good. I can eat, that gives me room for like lots of vegetables, lots of like all of my staples and all that stuff. And I realized I need carbs for me to survive. And like, even remember when I was like on that protein, there was a time I was like on a protein diet where I was eating like plant-based protein and like less carbs, and I realized that my body requires carbs to live. Yeah. Like it's just like I cannot go a day without carbs.
Yeah, I feel like you need a balance of everything. Yeah. But I have tried to not necessarily stick to like one type of fat diet, but I have tried eating less carbs and more meat, and I find that is actually that gives me more fuel. Like I actually do better even with terms of my energy levels and how I feel after a meal. Because when I have more carbs, like I grew up on rice and I love my rice, but I noticed that the more rice I eat, more carb-based meals, the more tired I feel, the more lethargic I feel. Like, you know that feeling when you just have a meal and you just want to take a nap. So I always felt that way. And when I started switching to more of a veggie and like meat diet, I felt like I would feel fine. Like I would have lunch and go to the gym and still have so much energy. And I usually have very late dinners. Like I'm usually not home till like 7, 8, and that's when I have my dinners. And I'll have lunch and be fine till like dinner time. But if I have carbs, I find that I always want to snack on something. Like I feel, you know, when you're full, but you still have that feeling of being hungry. So I feel that way a lot more when I have more carbs in my diet. But then again,
so that story is exactly true for me, but replace the carbs with meat. So that's why like these diets that people are telling us about, they don't work specifically for everybody. Like we're all so different, and you gotta know, like that's the part of the journey. You have to know what is best for you.
Plus I don't believe in completely eliminating something from your diet. I do believe that a balance, and that's the key. And this is what we learned like growing up in like home economics. Like you need to have a balanced diet where you have a little bit of everything. So just completely eliminating one thing from your diet
is not good for
might
your
not be
health.
the best idea. And this is where it starts to create costs for you, because like if you're, I'm not saying don't stick to whatever you diet plan that you have, but you just need to factor in the costs that come with that as well. Because sometimes like I was doing the keto, I still am, but I'm not like a strict keto person. Like there's some parts of it that incorporate like the meat and veggies. Those are really good for me, and I try to stick to that, but it gets really expensive when you're having really to buy just because now with the keto thing you have to buy grass-fed beef and free-run chicken, eggs and chicken, and those things get really expensive. So
honestly, like if I wasn't part of the debt-free journey, I am all for like changing the environment, changing the world, recycling, not buying free range and like organic and all that stuff. Like that is like the root of who I am in reality. Really, but like I can't afford that now. So like being vegan is my better choice.
I was on a semi-strict keto diet at the beginning of this year, and it was so good for me. I was losing weight without even like doing anything. Like my stomach was not like rock hard, but I noticed the difference. Whenever I eat carbs, I'm always bloated. I'm constantly bloated. But with the keto diet, I was hardly ever bloated, but I couldn't keep up to it because I noticed that if I was sticking to the keto diet, I was reaching that high end of my grocery budget. And a lot of the months, like I've mentioned in the previous episode, my grocery is where I go in and I do all that manipulation. If I need extra money for that pay cycle, I end up reducing my grocery budget because that's the most I can play with, as opposed to most other things are pretty much fixed, like my gas. I can't really do much about the gas prices. So there are a lot of months where I really had to be super tight on my grocery budget, and there are months where I was just like, you know what, eat and be happy. And I did that.
It's true. And there are sometimes like myself where I'm just like, okay, I need I need a diet that like touches on those senses that I've missed. You know, like those tangy senses. Cravings. Yeah, especially like I feel like especially the tangy ones. You know, like there's just some times where like maybe food is so bland or whatever, and you're just like, I need something to like hit that spot. So that's the thing. Like you need to understand your body, know when to quit, and know when to like, you know, because at the end of the day, it's your health that's at risk, right?
In this video, we're gonna try not to tell you what to do. We're just gonna tell you what we do, so you can see if you can do some of the things that we do. So because something like diet is a very sensitive topic, and I'm not going to be the one to tell you not to stick to whatever diet you have.
We're not going to tell you not to eat meat or just eat meat. Or just eat veggies.
I'm not doing that. So what does your typical grocery list consist of? Your 30... what do you buy for $20 to $30 every week?
So for me, mine is not the same every week. Like I don't buy the same.
Like
just because
what's a typical like
it's one of the
things you get?
tips that I would have for this specific episode is know your staples, the things that you cannot live without every single week. So for me, I love sweet potatoes. Like that's the thing that's probably gonna reoccur. Not maybe every week, but maybe every other week. Like that's just the thing that's always on my list. Another thing would be bread or eggs, depending on the week and how I feel. I always have vegetables, so it's either like frozen spinach. Like frozen is good because it's cheap, but it's also at its peak. At least that's what I've heard. That like whatever vegetables, what's it called, or fruits, they were picked at their peak and then frozen at that peak. So you might get something fresh that's older than something that's been frozen. That's what I heard. I'm not sure if that's true or not. It can be up for debate. That's what they tell us. But yeah, at least I'm getting vegetables. That's it. Yeah. Most of the times I have beans on my list.
She's been notorious for beans. And it's funny because I don't like beans.
I love beans. Like I've always loved beans. Growing up, it was the only thing I ate between the age of 4 to maybe 12. It was like just rice and beans every single day.
My body just doesn't. My body doesn't know how to digest beans properly. Anytime I have it, I have serious indigestion. So do you usually have like household items on that same $20 to $30?
Yeah, so that's part of my strategy. You need to know, like, I have a monthly grocery budget. And then within that monthly grocery budget, I have a weekly grocery.
Like, so what's your monthly grocery budget?
So whatever 30 times 4 is.
120?
120 is my monthly grocery budget. That includes like my feminine hygiene, my cleaning supplies, my everything should fit within the 120. Okay. I also have a supplementary spend budget, which is $60 a month. So it means I get about $15 each week. Okay. For extra spend. So
what is this extra spend?
So extra spend would be like if I have to go out with friends or
so eating out
or like if I want to spend on me, like if I want to get something special, which I haven't. That's just like extra money. I guess miscellaneous, if other people would like to call it that. Okay. I plan out, I know like maybe at the end of the month or maybe at the 15th of every month, that's when I get paid. And that's when I usually buy all of my supplies, like my household items and my feminine hygiene, because it only happens once a month. Like you're not gonna. So like I try to buy like toilet paper and everything on that week. I try to stick to that $30 limit.
That's what I was just gonna ask. Because I'm just doing the math in my head and it still doesn't add up, because I know there are months where I have to do that. And it's like, those are the months where I go way on the high end.
So,
because, like, even, okay, let's
say. I try to do it the week that, like, because I get paid twice a month.
Like, are you buying it all at the same time? Or you're, like, buying it on different cycles?
I buy it all at the same time.
Because, I'm just doing the math now. And, like, for a regular, like, tampon or pad, it's, like, $6. And then we look at toothpaste, which is around $4. So you're already at $9. And toilet paper is around $8-ish. So you're already at...
Depends on where you're shopping.
You're already at $15. So that's half of your budget.
How much did you say toothpaste was?
Toothpaste is around $4.
Oh, yeah, no, those are not none of my numbers. Except for sanitary products, it costs me... Colgate.
How much is it?
Isn't it $2? Would you use Sensodyne or something?
I use Sensodyne.
Yeah, see? Actually, Colgate is $2, guys.
I have very sensitive... I know how that just sounded. Like, as soon
Colgate
as I said
has Colgate sensitive.
I have very sensitivity. Whenever I use the other brands that I'm not going to mention, especially one brand, I actually have sores in my mouth. And this is why whenever so now that even when I travel, I always have to travel with Sensodyne, because I tried everything else. Like, I tried to go the cheap route, and Sensodyne is around the same price with the other ones, but yeah, I do get sores in my mouth anytime I use any other brand.
Yeah, so on
toilet paper? How much is your toilet paper?
I try to not buy toilet paper that's more than $5.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if at my grocery store, toilet paper is around $3.99 for a pack of 8.
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
I usually...
So like toilet paper is something that I could buy another time too. Like, so if I buy it at the beginning of the month, it's still cheap enough for me to fit in my budget another time.
Okay.
So like, it's not like I'm buying all of it all at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like how I do it is, when I do when I get all my cash and I split it up into my different categories, my very first month that I am doing my budget, I have my $30 grocery budget and then my $15 spend. Mm-hmm. Now I have to know if I have any events that week, then that's a whole other story.
Okay.
But like,
so you might end up using that $15 for those extra stuff if you don't have enough money to cover it.
Yeah, if I don't have enough money to cover it. But like, I make sure that it's within that week that I have all the money, not at the end of my budget. Because at the end of my budget, chances are, because like with events, maybe I have one big event that month. So I might need to use all of my $60 on that one event. Yeah. So that's why it's better for me to like do it first thing on my budget. I know that I got all of my necessities. And if I don't have that stuff, then like, things like toilet paper, I could always rebuy. Like cleaning supplies, you might not need to replace them for 3 months or something. So you have to know when you're buying those things. And I like those are the times when I make sure that my food budget is not as expensive. So I would buy cheaper things on my food side to make more room for me to buy other things. Okay. So that would be the week that I don't have luxuries in my food budget. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is kind of the same. So I have my household supplies, like my household items in there, my toiletries as well, like cleaning supplies, and my feminine hygiene. Sometimes I add like my soap is in there, my lotion. Because I have a separate category for hair, so I usually don't buy shampoo and conditioner. But now that I've given up on those stupid high-end natural hair products that ruin you. So now I've gone back to like drugstore shampoo, like
I swear by Head and Shoulders. That's the only thing I buy.
Out of my hair. And these things last. Like I buy like
they last a long time. Yeah.
The big one. So if I'm on braids and I know that I'm not really putting anything aside for my hair because I'm going to be on braids for a few weeks or a few months, then I would add the shampoo, conditioner on my grocery budget. But if I know that I'm going to do something major on my hair, then I would just put that on my hair budget.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I don't have a hair category because all I need is shampoo and I'm good to go. Yeah. So that's like, and
I do a lot of stuff to my hair. The most expensive,
the most expensive item on my grocery list would be my feminine hygiene, because I buy organic pads and tampons. And that's it.
Yeah, I think for me, so I do. It's kind of if everything finishes at the same time. I'm talking of laundry detergent is finished, your dish soap is gone, my I'm out of toilet paper. I'm thinking for those household items, it would come up to around $30 for me to get, if I'm getting everything at once. But I'm a little different from you, where I actually buy in bulk because that's kind of how I grew up. My mom has always been a bulk buyer, so I just kind of stayed in my brain. So whenever I buy toilet paper, I actually do the 30 up, or the 24 altogether, or the 30. So that way when I buy, I don't have to buy it for like maybe 2-3 months. So when I do that, so the months where I know that I'm running out of everything, I give room in my budget. So I have that $100 is my cap. So if I know that I have a lot of things to buy, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to buy up to $100. So I figure out, okay, what do I have to buy for this coming month that like I need to top up? So it's basically a top up. So I'll figure out, okay, it's going to cost me about $30 to $40. So I would now increase so if maybe the last few weeks I was spending $50, which is pretty much my average, I might say, okay, for this week, I'm going to spend to like $70 or $80 to accommodate those extra things. So I I buy like the large tissue, and it costs me like sometimes $10, sometimes $12, depending on the sale that's going on that period. I usually buy 2 toothpastes, because the last thing I want to do is run out of toothpaste mid-month, and then I don't have money to buy toothpaste. So I usually buy the family size, or I buy 2 at the same time. My soaps or my backwash, I would buy 2. So I buy 2 of everything. So whenever I'm re-topping on my house, so I'm basically buying for 2 to 3 months all at the same time. And that way it helps me stick to the $50 for the rest of the weeks for a while. So I don't have to keep spending them. Because I feel like if I have to buy toilet paper and all those household items every month, I feel like I'll keep going over my budget. So there are times like I think for the times where I haven't had to buy those things for months, because I have them. So the things that I for my household, the things that I actually have to buy more often are actually like my body wash and toothpaste. Like toilet paper lasts me a while. Laundry detergent lasts me a while. Dish soap, I usually buy the large size, or I'll buy 2 of it because it's like $1.97 or something. So I'll buy 2 of that. And then what else is in my household items? Like my feminine hygiene products, those last me about 2 months use. So I'll buy like the maximum size. Like I just buy the maximum size of everything. And maybe that's why my budget ends up being on the high side.
Like when you're speaking now, I'm like, I see now why your budget is so expensive.
But it's not every month, though.
Yeah,
it's not. Every
I get
month.
it, and like sometimes that works for some people, but for me, I don't know now, like if it's that part of that minimalism thing, I do not want to see something that I'm not using. Like if it's there and I'm not using it, I just feel like a type of way. I'm just like, can I just get rid of this? Yeah. So like if I buy like 2 soaps or 2 this, 2 that, I just feel like, when am I going to use the other thing? And this comes up because when I went away over the summer, I had to buy soap again, and I didn't want to buy a small one, like travel one, because it was about the same price as a normal big one. So I was like, why should I buy a small one when I can buy a big one and I can use it forever? And now I have 2 of these like things staying in my house, and I'm just like, when can this finish so I can go use the other one? Because I just can't handle things just sitting. And then like over the summer too, I had guests over, and they went grocery shopping, and they bought like dish soap and all that stuff. And then I had gone and bought dish soap too. So I have now 2 like stocked. Like I'm just like, my brain is just like, I don't want.
I'm using something, and as soon as I run out, I can just replace that thing right away. So that's just kind of how I like.
And I think also
that's
maybe
just how I am. Like I don't want to ever like not have like literally I had run out of toilet paper the other time. I was telling you, like I'm literally, so I had to wait for like a full cycle of my my budget, because I already bought everything I needed, and I didn't realize at that time that I needed toilet paper. So imagine me in that weird situation where you don't have toilet paper in your house. So like I just don't.
And
like
I get it.
To run out of anything.
Yeah. Like for me, because I don't like, and you too, I guess, I don't go shopping these days because I don't have money to go shopping at the mall. For me, grocery shopping is my shopping. So that's why I like to do it every week. And I like to like I just find joy in always having to buy those things instead of like buying everything at once. I think that's part of the thrill. And also it's become like, the reason why my budget is so cheap is because it's like a mission for me. I'm just like, for me, it's so much fun. I'm just like, how can I find the cheapest thing to fulfill my list today? So I feel like that's why, for me, I shop more often than most people, because I want to do it.
So in terms of your actual like food items, like how do you shop? Do you buy bulk, or do you buy like, I don't even think, it's kind of hard because a lot of the things, especially when it's packaged goods, you're literally buying in bulk. So how do you, like if you wanted to have rice and what else is packaged? Like if you run out of oil that period, like you have to buy a bottle of oil and it's not cheap.
Yeah, so
like how do you manage like having to buy all of those big items? Because I get it if if you're just cooking like a meal and you have everything, you have all your staples, maybe you're just running to get veggies that you need for that week, and most people will have spices already. It's easier when you just need to get those few veggies to whip up a meal. But when you have to, like, when you have a month where like you need to get rice, you need to get oil, you need to get you're out of onions or something, you need to buy the bulk bag. Or, like, all
See,
those
that's
things.
the crazy thing. I don't buy bulk onions. Like, I see them, and I'm just like,
There's nothing I don't cook with onions, so I need onions. Like, I cannot buy one single onion.
I buy one single onion.
It doesn't work.
Every week I buy one single onion.
If you're Nigerian, you know we like our onions. Like it's, if I eat a meal and there's no onion in it, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. And I know, like, when I lived with my sister and another roommate, we used to buy things in bulk. We even had a Costco membership because we just bought everything in bulk and everything.
Like, in super, like, bulk. But for me, I figured...
No, it was good for us because we bought everything for the month. Like, we would buy all the chicken for the month or all of the meat for the month. And then we would have... Like, there's some things that, obviously, for us as 3 people, Costco was too much. Yeah. But, like, there are some things that it was better value to buy in bulk at Costco. But, like, when I started living by myself, I was like, I don't want to buy things that would last more than 2 weeks. So, like, if I buy my rice is probably not going to last more than two weeks. And I try to put intervals in between. So, like, if this week I'm having rice, maybe next week I'll have pasta or potatoes or whatever. That's how I interchange it. And when I buy a big, like, if I know that this week I'm buying a big bag of rice, which is not usually big, I usually just buy 1 kg at max. Like, the smallest package of rice that you can get. Yeah. So I would buy that. Or if I know, like, I have to buy oil this week, I know that, okay, oil is going to cost me, I don't know, $4.99 or something.
No, it's not $4.99. It's like at least $6.
Oh, well, I don't know where you shop, girl.
What oil do you use?
Like, vegetable oil. Oh, you buy olive oil. Yeah. Okay. See, like, there is the basics of everything. So so the things that I have to buy. So
I think now we're discovering, like,
the reason why things are different. Everything that I have to get easily fits within my budget. And if I know, like, I have to buy a big jug of oil this week, then maybe that's the week that I'll be having beans instead of, like, something lavish or something like that. So I know, maybe that's the week that I don't buy eggs, and then I buy the big bag of rice or something. So then I'm having rice and beans instead of having, like, you know, with eggs and all that stuff. Yeah. So, and also, like, I try to have, like, a Friday meal or, like, a weekend thing that I could have. So usually my go-to is fries because I dies for fries. That was very new feed.
I dies for fries.
I love fries so much.
As your nameplate.
I dies for fries. Yes.
On your car.
So that's usually what I get. And if I get a big bag, that will last me a whole weekend if I'm just, like, binging TV or something. So I tend to be a very simple person. Like, I'm very basic. And I I don't mind it, you know? Like,
you should shop at Food Basics.
I don't have that store in my neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
So that's another point that I had, that you should know what groceries, like, find a reasonably priced grocery store, because there are some grocery stores out there, at least the ones that I've heard here, like, I don't know, Farm Boy, whatever, that's, like, really expensive.
Yeah, those ones are, like, more for, like, organic. Yeah. And, like, it's more from farmers, local
and
farmers.
I honestly,
and so
I want to support local farmers with all of my heart, and I'm not discouraging people from doing that, but you should know your place and your limits. Like, for me right now, I shop at the cheapest discount grocery store in my neighborhood. Yeah. And I know that that's the store that I go to, and, like, the reason why you should go to the same grocery store in the same location every single time.
It helps you know what the prices are.
The prices are.
It makes you shop a lot faster.
Yeah, you know exactly where everything is.
Now I feel like I'm starting to understand the days where, like, they bring all the prices down. You know the days when there are too many people in the store.
Yeah, you know when the groceries are the freshest. Exactly. You know so much about it if you dedicate just everything to that one store. And I know like sometimes I go to a Sobeys when I'm feeling fancy.
For me, I actually split mine into two. Like there's a store that I do all my produce from, my meat and all my veggies and all that stuff, like my spices. And then I do like my bulk items from Walmart because it is the cheapest for bulk items. So that's what I usually do.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I used to go to Walmart and a grocery store. But then I heard a tip somewhere.
Mine are like side by side.
Yeah. Well, for me, they're not, right? Because the way my town is situated, it's all over the place. Yeah. But I heard a tip from someone that said, if you're going grocery shopping, go to one store. Like for that, if you're going grocery shopping for that week, go to one store. Because here's the thing about going to two different stores. They have two different sets of sales, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go to that other store, you've already bought something from this other store, and then you go there and you're like, oh, you get tempted because there are different sales. There are different things that are like if you go to that one store, you go through the whole thing. There's only that much temptation from that one store.
Yeah, this is true, but with the way things have been for me, being so strict on my budget, like I have cash, so I know how much I have left in my wallet. Like if I have $80 for my budget, and I know that okay, I've gotten all I need for my food and my produce, and I bought those for $50. So I know I have $30 left to go get my household items. And I walk in there and I see something like there are times when I'm like, okay, maybe I can get a snack or something, but it's never over my $30 change that I have because if I don't have the money, I ain't got it. That's the beauty of cash for me.
Yeah.
Knowing that I have my list and I'm going like yesterday, actually, I did my groceries yesterday and it was such a fail. I did 3 grocery stores because this girl was trying to get like berries because oh man, my meal for this coming week involves like 2 different meals that need berries. And I was like, the first store that I usually go to, they usually sell it cheap, but for some reason it was high. It was $3.99. So I was like, I know this other store, it usually sells for less. But I needed to go to Walmart because I needed to get, what was it I needed to get in Walmart again? Wait, I have my list here. Yeah, I needed to get toothpaste because this store didn't carry Sensodyne. So I needed to get Sensodyne and a garbage bag. So I was like, okay, Walmart is right across the corner. So I quickly went into Walmart. I was going to see if Walmart were going to sell the berries for cheap. I went to Walmart and it was more expensive. I was like, oh, now I darn it. Now I got to go to Food Basics. So long and short of the story, I ended up in another store and they had it for $167. So it was worth all that drive because it was half price. So I ended up buying 3. So
yeah, so
it's all within the budget.
Yeah, so it depends on what kind of adventure you want to do.
I was really craving Cheetos. I was like, I want to get Cheetos, but it's $4, and I did not have $4 because I was right. Because
$4?
Another thing I've noticed Walmart. I don't think Walmart does that thing where if you get I don't know, Walmart taxes you on everything. Like, because every time I go to Walmart, it ends up becoming more expensive.
The thing is,
like,
with Walmart, I find
doesn't tax me on my produce, but when I go to Walmart, they tax you on everything.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I felt like Walmart.
Maybe
somehow Walmart
using Walmart.
Yeah, you spend so much money there, and in my mind, I thought it was because of that dollar store mentality. You know what I mean? Like, if something is cheap, you tend to buy more things because they're cheap. So then you end up with more things at checkout versus if you were going to a more expensive place where you could only
the main reason why I actually use Walmart because it carry the brands that I usually use, like something like with my toothpaste and my toilet paper. The thing is, even though I shouldn't be a toilet paper snob, but it's just certain types of things that you just want to use. Yeah. Plus, they carry their own no-name brands that are quite cheaper, so you can always use that alternative.
Yeah, I feel like if you're buying household cleaning supplies,
it's more expensive in the normal stores.
If you're buying household cleaning supplies, if you're buying like garbage bags or like Ziploc bags or those kind of
that's dollar store to that.
Yeah, well, you could, but also like Walmart is so much cheaper than all of the other stores for that, like for like toothpaste and all that stuff. Like they are so much cheaper than all of the other stores. Like, don't buy that stuff at the groceries.
If you catch them on a good day and it's like the prices have been marked down, and that's what I usually do actually. If the prices are marked down, so like I know like on average like my toothpaste cost me $5.47 or something, and just sometimes it actually comes down to $3 something. So whenever it's marked down, that's when I get it too. So I don't usually buy it at the full price. So if like for toilet paper example, like if I went that day and the prices are all full price, I wouldn't get the 30 in a row thing. I might get the 21 or the 24 one or the 18 one. So if I go that day and the 31 is like the price of the 18, I'll just end up buying the 31. So that's how I do it. Like, because now, and that's the beauty of shopping in one place. At least you're starting to know how much these things cost. So you always know when you're getting a good deal. So anyways, some of the things that have helped me in from how I went from like a $150 a week to like $100 is actually limiting. I say I buy bulk, but it's actually things that I know I'm going to use, because before I would buy like lemons in a bag. I'll buy like strawberries. I'll buy 2 buckets of it. I buy all these things, and I was wasting a lot of food. Like, I get really bored with food, and I can only eat the same thing for like a week. So at the end of the day, I end up buying those things, especially with fresh produce, and I end up throwing away with like veggies. Like, I end up buying.
Biggest food waste is fresh produce.
Yeah, I usually like a lot of. I buy bell peppers a lot, so I'll buy like the bell peppers in a bag instead of just buying like 1 green pepper if that's all I need for the meal. So I was throwing away a lot of food. So now I don't always know what I'm going to cook. Like, I kind of go to the store and kind of figure it out sometimes. But most times I try to like know what my exact meal is and figure out that, okay, if I need just 1 bell pepper, I'm only going to pick the 1 instead of buying it in a bag. And if I know that I'm going to make 2 or 3 meals that will call for bell peppers, then I can get the bag, because I'll be actually getting at a cheaper price if I buy it that way. So learning to just figure out buying only what I need for that week. I cook every week. And then if you're the kind of person that likes to cook for the month and freeze everything, figure out that, okay, in the next...
I feel like if you're buying things if you're meal prepping for the month, it's easier if you buy things in bulk. But if you're
It's easier, but at the same time, you actually don't use as much as you think you are going to use, because keep in mind now that if you've cooked for the entire month, you're not going to be cooking a lot of meals for 3 weeks. So all of those things, if you don't end up using them, it will waste, because a lot of things don't preserve that
because
long.
You're not going to cook until a month later.
A lot of things don't preserve them. So you have to know exactly that, okay, if I'm going to... And then a good thing to keep in mind, like if you're cooking bulk, you're obviously cooking maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 meals. Make sure that all of those grocery items that you can use, like, don't just...
You can multi-use.
Yeah, you can multi-use the same, like, veggie for, like, 3 meals or 2 meals. So that way you get to use up all your produce. And, and another good thing to actually do is actually have your meals planned ahead. Like, this is the part where I still struggle. But
meal planning will save your life, because that's if you know, like, especially for us who we eat the same thing all week, if you don't figure out what you want to eat, you're going to end up being sorry by Wednesday, because now you've eaten the same thing for 3 days and you can't stand it anymore because you did not plan for it. If you plan for it, I usually plan for things that I'm actually craving, so that I know that week, after I'm done with that week, I'm not going to be like craving that thing anymore, or at least it's something that I've been craving. So I really, really, really want to eat it. But if you're going to eat rice and beans every single week, I mean, even if you are, if you are what kind of like person who loves what kind of thing, you're going to get tired of that thing. So you need to be able to meal prep. And for me, like, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, like, and I just kept, like, first I started with a journal of all the meals that I could make that are cheap. So I started keeping journals of, okay, what meals can I try this week, and how, like, sometimes I would have to substitute some of the more expensive things that they used in their ingredients for something cheaper. But, like, keeping a log of what kind of meals you would prefer to eat, and then trying to figure out how those meals fit in your grocery budget will help you create a list every week, and will also help you with variety within your weeks.
And speaking of, like, eating, like, you have to cook and buy things that you actually like. Because I feel like for me, with trying different kinds of diet, I end up like, oh, let me try this. But I cook the thing and I end up not enjoying it. So I end up not eating it, and I end up throwing that whole thing away. So don't get carried away by all the different fat diets. Like, sometimes you have to experiment things to actually know if you like it. But don't go cooking like entire week's worth of meal for something that you might not end up liking. Like, if you're experimenting with a meal, I suggest just try like a serving, and like try to like budget for like a serving or 2 servings, so that you see if you like it. And then if you don't like it, okay, I'm not gonna eat this thing ever again. So if you're whatever diet you're on keeps calling for sweet potatoes, and you don't like
don't
sweet
like
potatoes,
them, why are you
don't
buying
freaking
them?
buy sweet potatoes.
Or
Even if it tells you
substitute
sweet
it for
potatoes is gonna
regular
change
potatoes or
even
something.
if it tells you it's gonna change your entire life, like don't eat something because someone else says it's good for you. Eat it because you enjoy it
like
and it's
it.
good for your body too. If there's something that you like to eat a lot, like for me, it's eggs. I eat eggs almost every breakfast. So like that is something that, and you can have eggs a million ways. So that is something that I know that no matter what, the eggs, they stay in my fridge. They can stay there for months and months without going bad. And I can eat it any time of the day. And that is something that is a staple for me. So I always get eggs. Like something like milk, I get tired of milk, and I don't really have a lot of things I can eat milk with, and I'm a little bit sensitive to milk. So that I can eliminate completely from my diet. But so only buy things that you absolutely love and enjoy eating, else you just end up wasting it.
Yeah. For me, I have a similar story about milk too. I actually don't have a problem with, my body doesn't hate milk, and I love it, and I used to just drink it like a glass of milk, like on a daily.
On a good day, I might say, okay, I want to have a glass of milk, but it's a craving that I never have. Like I would do more milk derivatives where it's like ice cream or like it's like maybe sour cream or cream cheese, like something like that.
Yeah.
The milk derivatives, I feel like I'm more, or like cake or something. I would have those cravings as opposed to just sitting and saying, I want to have a glass of milk.
Yeah, so it used to be a staple in my list too, because I was like, oh, milk, like if I'm hungry in between meals or whatever, that's usually was my go-to, is protein. I don't know, that's what I thought. I don't know if it's true or not, but like that's what I thought. And then I realized that it would stay in there sometimes. It's not like I drink a glass of milk every day. It would stay in there for a long time. And then I started drinking, and it would go bad. Like they don't last long, the cartons of milk. So then I was like, okay, maybe I'll try almond milk, and I'll do almond milk instead of regular milk. And then I started drinking almond milk, and then I just realized it was all sugar. So I was like, these are the reasons why I keep gaining all this weight, because I keep drinking these things that don't even make sense.
Yeah.
And so I just decided to cut it off altogether, because it just didn't make sense in my whole, like my day, and the way I was doing my meals and all that stuff.
Yeah, for me now, I'm trying to make sure that anything I buy lasts me maximum 2 weeks tops. Like I'm not, like there's times like now, because I just cooked this weekend, so my fridge is full. Like usually at the end of the week, my fridge is empty, and I like it that way because now I know that everything I buy like is being used and it's not going to waste.
That's exactly how I feel too. Like if I have cupboards and cupboards filled with things, I become so anxious, because I'm like, things are gonna go bad. When am I gonna use that thing? I just like to get rid of things. Like, I know it's sad when you open your fridge and it's empty, it has nothing in there, but I feel like that's the best way for me.
You are on a debt-free journey when your fridge is empty.
Yeah, when your fridge is empty, and you know that you're not wasting food. Yeah, like I remember when I first started living by myself, and I was staying by myself, and I was buying meals for myself, and I didn't have like a limited budget. I would buy things, and then at the end of the week, things would go bad, and my heart would ache, because I'm like, I know people who don't have food, and I'm out here throwing all of this food.
I used to waste a lot of food, and because for me before, it would just be, oh, I'm craving this, so get this. Like even if I know, like with my cravings, they don't last long. Like I might only crave that thing for one day, and I end up buying like a whole bunch of it, and I end up not eating it, so I end up wasting it. The things that I've eliminated from my budget, like juice and all those things.
That's one thing I cut out of my budget too, because I was just like, this is just like, this is
water's just fine.
This is a waste of, like, this is just empty calories that don't make sense in my life. And I have the biggest sweet tooth, so like cutting out juice was a huge thing for me. Yeah. But I was just like, it doesn't make sense. I know it's not that expensive. It's maybe like at most $2 if you buy like a Fruitopia type. Yeah. If you buy an orange juice, if you buy an orange juice, it's maybe like, I don't know, $3-4.
Yeah,
but like it adds up, and it's just like something that you don't need. It's like you don't need this to survive. It's just not necessary.
Yeah, I used to have lemon in my water all the time with mint and all those things. I don't buy them anymore. I used to do a lot of tea, David's tea and Tivana when they were still in Canada. I just realized how much money I spent on tea. Like I would get all kinds of, like I am a tea fanatic and I would get all kinds of tea. And this year I have not actually spent, well, not at David's Tea. I just get like regular green tea from my regular grocery store. And the store is actually like a Chinese store. So the green tea is actually the real thing. It's the real, like the Chinese
the
green
real,
tea.
the good.
So it's not the flavored one that like they sell. Like I still love David's Tea, but they're gonna see me after I'm done paying my debt. But I like and what I did was like I noticed because I was doing like a whole declutter cycle. So I was like decluttering my fridge, and which is another tip, like declutter your kitchen, sorry, so that you can actually see what you have. If you have stuff like behind your cupboard where you don't know what know exactly what you have in your pantry. You might not have an exactly, but at least you have an idea. So you're not buying the same thing twice. Know what you have. And when I was trying to do that, like with my spices, because I when I was doing that, I actually noticed I had like 2 bags of the same spices, and I was looking for like containers to put my spices in, and I didn't want to go buy like those nice fancy jars because I was like trying to make this as no extra spend as possible. So I was like, I noticed I had all these David's tea containers. They're just sitting there from all my tea spending days. And I think I collected at least 15 tins of these things that I end up putting my spices in. So, yeah. So that is one thing that I know I have stopped buying. That I do miss my teas, but it's okay.
It's okay. It's only temporary.
It's okay.
That's the thing that I keep telling myself. Like for me, my dream grocery store would be bulk burn. Like I would love to go there and just like though. That's the thing I'm saying. Like that's my dream grocery store.
I always used to think that they would be cheap because it's the bulk thing, but
no, it's just like I like to see all of those exotic things. Like I just want to buy all the nuts and everything. I'm just like
nuts is another thing that I've reduced because I used to have a lot of nuts like with my breakfast. I'll do like all these wonderful cereals with all the nuts, and like I'll do like a granola with yogurt. Yogurt is another thing I no longer get.
Yeah,
I'll have like
I get yogurt because berries. It's cheap.
I still do berries, but it's once in a while, and it's usually for breakfast. So
I don't do granola bars anymore.
I reduce nuts
because they don't make any kind of sense.
Reduce my yogurt intake. Yeah, granola I usually used to have it with yogurt, but I still have like a huge tin of it that I still have in my cupboard that from my bulk buying days. And
like
that's it.
If you need to cut things out of your budget, cut them out. I know, like for me, I used to be every Friday I would eat out. Not like eat out like at a fancy restaurant, but like I would buy like McDonald's or buy a slice of pizza or whatever, just because I'm just like, oh, it's Friday, I don't want to cook. I ate all of my food. Like I've been a good girl and ate all my food and all that stuff. And then I would just go and buy all of these things. But then I realized that my grocery store has frozen pizza. I know that's pathetic to some people, but like for me, I don't buy it often, but like I would rather do that because it's cheaper than going to like McDonald's every week to buy food that is like $10, which is half my grocery budget.
For my eating out, like I decide what I'm gonna do. Are you either gonna cook or you're gonna eat out? So if my budget for that week is $50, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna cook with this $50, or I'm gonna eat out the entire week with this $50. The good thing is, we have a cafeteria at work, so it's subsidized. The meals are really cheap, so I can just get my lunch there, and like my lunch is like less than $5. So that's what I would do, because I cannot, if I try to break it up, it would not work for me. Because if I say, oh, let me try to do $25, because I don't have an eating out budget. Like I had it before and I scrapped that out. It was part of my, I was like, me trying to be debt free quicker. So I took that out. And now my eating out has only been like if I have like a friend's birthday or something. And I do have those cravings where I like crave like a McDonald's burger. Well, it's more like what's the other one? Burger King. I usually crave like a Whopper once in a while. And when I do, I know that, okay, I have to find like that extra $5. So I can do like an extra $5-10. Like I can try to make my budget work where I can save $5 to $10 for my groceries. And I know that, okay, for that week, it can either be like coffee at work, or if I want to get fries at work, which I usually do. So I always try to like have that extra $5 at least. Sometimes I make it up to $10. Yeah. So that's just how I make it work for myself. Like if now I feel like I've had so much willpower and self-control in how now I don't let my cravings get the better of me. Like I have cravings, trust me. There are times where I'll be like on my couch and I really want to just run outside and go buy like a bag of chips or like ice cream or something. But the fun part of this debt-free journey and having a cash budget is that you ain't got money.
Yeah.
So you can't
You
get
have to
it.
sit at home
So you
and
just
deal
sit
with
at
your
home
life.
and drink water. Because no
The
matter
amount
how
of
hard,
times I've drank
no matter
water
how hard I
in the
wanna
middle of
get
the
that
night.
thing, like last night where I was like, I really need a bag of Cheetos, but I didn't have money. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go home because I'm done.
Where are you buying this expensive bag of Cheetos? I thought they were like $2.99.
Cheetos is for a bag of Cheetos?
Yeah.
For the big bag?
How big of a bag is it?
Like a chip bag.
Like a regular bag.
Yeah, like when I was going through all the stores, I was checking to see how much the Cheetos were, and it was $3.50. The cheapest one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, you're right. It's probably $3.50, yeah. Yo, like chips are so expensive when you come to think about it.
Yeah,
you know, like why?
It was like two for $7. I was like, yeah, okay,
2 for wow.
I'm gonna go home.
Yeah. Well, my grocery store, most of the stuff is cheap, but like sometimes like that chip aisle, I don't even go because I like it's so disappointing. Anyway, the last point that I had was like the point that you said that declutter your cupboards to know what you have. Mm-hmm. Also know what, like if you bought things this week that you didn't use all of it this week, be mindful of those things going into the following week.
Keep it in mind. Use those things for like the next meal.
Because like there's also websites now where you can just plug in ingredients and then they'll tell you all the meals that you can make with that one ingredient that you have. So in order to minimize waste and reusing things like that would spill over to the next week, just do like a review of all of your cupboards and your refrigerator before you go grocery shopping. That way you're just supplementing what you already have, or at least you're using ingredients that you already have instead of going and buying newer ones while you still have things that might be rotting in your fridge.
Yeah, that is so true. And for me, one of the things that I struggle with is actually having like a meal prep. So now what I'm trying to do, and I'm still working on this, so I want to create like a 6 to 12 week meal plan where like, okay, this is what I'm going to be eating. And then after I get to either the 6th week or the 12th week, I can start all over again. Because I really, if you're like me and you get bored with like what to cook, you never know what to cook. So this is what I feel like will help me that way. And in creating this plan, I'm also trying to like make like the ingredients work together where, okay, for this week, if I'm creating, and I usually do 3 to 4 meals per week. I forgot to say, 2 to 3 meals per week, 2 to 3 different meals apart from breakfast. So between lunch and dinner, I'll meal prep like 2 to 3 meals. So now I'm trying to, and I run out of what to eat quite quickly because I'm eating the same thing for lunch and dinner, like recycled the whole week. And after a while, I'm just done with that thing. So I feel like if I have that way, I know that, okay, for week 2, this is what I'm eating. It keeps me more focused where now I'll have a more consistent grocery budget as opposed to now I'm still kind of all over the place, I think. Like, it's good that I'm not
it goes
going
back
over
to
budget,
knowing your staples and what work for you. And then that way you know that, okay, if I had this rice and beans this week, maybe I'll have spaghetti and meatballs the next week. And I'm not saying that's what we eat.
It's kind of based on a keto plan. So I'm trying to, so that way it helps me actually plan ahead. Where, because I feel like with a keto plan, it can get really expensive, even like a paleo diet too. So having that meal plan, it will help me know what to pair together. So that way I can use the same items and not just buy something because one recipe calls out for it and then never have to use that thing again for like 5 weeks. So doing that I'm going to try and do that and see how it works for me. So hopefully that can help you as well.
That's something that has helped me so much. Like just figuring out like the meals that I like to eat and then like doing my grocery lists based on those. I feel like that has been the key thing for me when grocery shopping. Yeah. Just like knowing things in advance, because now when I go there, I know exactly what I'm getting and I'm in and out of there in no time because I know how to navigate my store. I know where to start and where to end and where everything is. And then like grocery shopping is a non-factor in my life, right? Because of those things. And then I'm just left with anomalies like, eating out with with friends and
my
things.
greatest struggle is thinking of what to eat, and that's where I get lazy and end up like having to like eat at work or something. So I feel like having a plan would keep me focused. Yeah, there's this saying that there's always food at home. So when in doubt, shop your pantry, shop your fridge. You always find something.
You will always find something.
Always find something to cook. Like,
yeah,
look at your. Make sure you know exactly the last thing you want to do is buy something from the store and come back and realize that you have the exact same thing at home. So
that's the worst feeling ever.
Before you go buy anything in bulk or buy any like do any major grocery shopping, make sure you've used up everything you have to the like make sure your grocery, your what's it called, your cupboard or your pantry and your fridge is as empty as possible. I know people don't like to run out of food, but try to do that so that way you're consuming things, even things that are going to expire. That way you're getting rid of all those things. Try to cook all of those things, and then when you get to that point, you're like, oh yeah, we need to go get food. We're gonna starve if we don't go grocery shopping. So and this has helped me for those weeks where I've had to spend like $30 on my groceries. There are weeks when I've had to like actually look at what I have and make sure that, okay, maybe if I'm getting something, maybe it's just a veggie or maybe I need something fresh to just add to the mix. So prep your pantry, shop your fridge, and there's always food at home.
This is true.
Yes. Okay, so I hope this helped you guys. And just seeing this actually helped me because now it was like a learning experience for me because I always used to feel bad whenever Chite told me how much she spent. So now I really understand that we actually have two very different shopping habits. And hers, like, she only buys the things she needs for that moment, while me, I usually buy like bulk items, like some bulk items, and I buy brands that I'm more comfortable with or that work for me, and those tend to become more expensive. So if you're struggling, if you're trying to reduce your budget, you can get some tips from her, because I'm definitely gonna adopt one or two or a few of those things.
It's good. Like, now I understand like your budget and how things go with you, because before I was just like, what in the heck are you buying?
Just throwing money away.
But it makes sense, and you do what you need to do. I
did used to throw money away, but now I'm trying to be more mindful about it, trying to be more intentional. And it's a work in progress. It's just like budgeting and everything else. Like, after weeks...
And the same shoe won't fit everybody.
You start to understand, especially when you have a family in the mix. It's hard to like budget for everyone. So everyone wants to eat something different. It's hard to put everyone in check. But I look at other people on Instagram that are on this debt-free journey, and even those that are past the debt-free journey. And like I said, there are people that have families of 6, and their grocery budget is the exact same budget that I have. And I keep telling myself,
and I watch those people on the daily.
Myself, what the heck are you buying? So I'm still trying to like eliminate it as much as possible, and my goal is to stick to 50. So I've been doing 50 more, but so I'm trying to make it where it's like seamless and just do 50. I don't think I can ever do 20. I don't think I can ever be, I mean, like
20 is very extreme.
Yeah.
And I don't recommend it for everybody. Because there have been times when I just had ramen noodles, and you've caught me on those days when I just had ramen.
There have been times when I've done that too, when it's like, and those have been like my $30 weeks where I'm like, okay, I don't have anything else, I'm just gonna do noodles. And I do like noodles, so
I like noodles too, so it's not a big deal. It's not, honestly, everything that I eat, I don't hate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be eating it if I hated it.
For me, my go-to, whenever I'm like in that place where I feel like I have to calm down, my go-to is plantain and rice. I love those, like, rice not as much, but jollof rice, I can eat that thing any day, anytime. Like, I would cook like a bucket of jollof rice that will last me 3 weeks.
I love rice too.
Plantain is so cheap in Canada. Well, not maybe. Plantain is relatively cheap.
Ontario.
Like, you can get like 10 for like $5. So I love plantain. I love plantain. And my goat meat, the store that I go to, goat meat is very cheap. So those 3 things, I make it into 3 different meals. I'm set. Yeah. I'm set for like 2 weeks. And it didn't cost me much. So if you have your favorite food and you know that you really need to streamline your budget, look for your favorite foods that you know that if I eat this thing, I wouldn't feel like life is too hard on me right now. So find those things and cook it. and stick to your budget.
And you would be amazed at how many luxurious things are cheap. Like there's so many Mediterranean foods that are cheap. Like they're mostly vegan based diets. Yeah. Like there's so many, like there's Indian food, there is Asian food. Like there's so many different cultures with different things that you can utilize. Like most of Asian culture is mostly veggies, right? Yeah. Like most of Indian culture is like nice like spices with rice and like with, you know, like there's or like potatoes. Like there's so many different places that you can go to and find the things that fit you and find the variety without causing you pain.
Yes. So yeah.
That's all from us. If you want like sample meals that we do, send us an email or a message. Maybe we can help you out.
Yeah, maybe
like
we will do like a vlog of like our grocery runs, and that way you can actually see what exactly we're buying. Like I have my receipt here, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, because
people might think that I just buy. I just eat rice and beans every week.
Yeah, she showed me her receipt. Like, guys, one time I was like, "Send me your receipt," and like she showed me like this is what I bought for the week, and she's right. Like I think that week was like $10 or something stupid. And I was just like, I can't deal with this girl. So
if you want,
I can like put like pictures of my receipts to see like what I bought for like this week, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see how it goes.
If you have any questions, comments, you just want to show us love on social media,
or if you want to share some recipes with us,
like help us out too. We need help. I know I'm looking at. Help us out too,
yeah, because we're struggling girls out here too, you know. Maybe if you have a $5 weekly grocery budget, tell us how you do it.
I'd like to see someone beat you. I know that there are a lot more crazies out
there. There are definitely crazier people out there than me.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I feel like some of it has to do with the area that you live in too. Some people can get away with buying meals really cheap. Some people grow their own.
My ideal situation is to, like, next year I'm definitely getting a plot. I have to have my own lettuce by the end of 2020.
Wow. Just lettuce? Nothing
like
else?
At least have my own lettuce. At least. If I could get potatoes too, I'll be winning.
I feel like those need a lot of soil though. You need
potatoes?
A lot of soil for potatoes because it grows
deep down.
Undershoot. What do they call them? What category? I don't know,
but I'm getting a plot this year.
I feel like you need a lot of
at least
grow above ground.
Vegetables. I need to have at least, like, I wish I loved carrots because I would have just a carrot farm.
Anyway, like we were saying, our social medias are two sides of a dime, and
on Insta, on Facebook, on Twitter, that's every place that we're at.
Okay.
Follow us, subscribe, give us a shout. We'll see you next time.